In today's news, Health Minister announces the launch of largest preventive healthcare system across Maldives. PML introduces changes to its financing products to provide greater business support, and STO to begin canned tuna fish distribution in Male on 20th February.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to MMTV News in English with me, Mariam Milsa Masood. Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim states that the Maldives is set to launch its largest preventive healthcare system across all atolls this year.
The minister stated that extensive training was conducted in 5 atolls last year to prepare for the nationwide rollout of the initiative, which aims to enhance public access to health information and disease prevention measures through an electronic network. As part of the government's broader efforts to promote public health and reduce the burden of preventable diseases, the minister announced that additional revenue from the recent increase in tobacco duty will be allocated towards the treatment of tobacco-related diseases and support for individuals seeking to quit smoking. He stated that smokers can now access treatment at all health facilities across the country, and a 24-hour helpline has been established to provide guidance and support for those looking to quit. In addition to tobacco cessation programs, the government has introduced free medical checkups for Maldivian citizens. The minister highlighted that early screenings will improve access to timely treatment, ultimately increasing survival rates and reducing the long-term impact of chronic diseases. He reiterated that these services will be covered under the Preventive Healthcare Program. The government's commitment to preventive healthcare was reaffirmed in President Dr. Mohamed Muiz's presidential address, where he announced that the additional revenue generated from increased cigarette prices would be dedicated to tobacco-related disease prevention and treatment initiatives.
The criminal court concluded 137 drug-related cases in 2024, with 95% resulting in convictions. According to statistics released by the court, only 7 cases were dismissed after being examined on their merits. Among the cases adjudicated, some involved defendants admitting to drug use during trial, while others were withdrawn by the Prosecutor General to be redirected to the drug court for rehabilitation and treatment. Additionally, certain cases were withdrawn by the prosecution. The court reported that 20 individuals were convicted of drug trafficking and sentenced to life imprisonment last year, while 7 others received prison terms of more than 12 years for drug offences. Additionally, in connection with the drug convictions, individuals were ordered to pay a total of 110.2 million rupiah in fines with 2024. Members of Parliament proposes amendments to the Prevention of Gang Crimes and Other Dangerous Crimes Bill, questioning the use of the term gang in the legislation and advocating for a broader focus on the root cause of crime. The bill, moved by South Machangoli MP Mustafa Hussain on behalf of the government, has been referred to the Judiciary Committee for review. It aims to establish a legal framework to combat organized crime, protect society from dangerous criminal activities, and grant special powers to law enforcement agencies, while also including provisions to prevent youth involvement in crime and support their reintegration into society. One of the key concerns raised during the debate was the use of the word gang in the bill's title, despite it not appearing elsewhere in the text. Mafan Central MP Abdullah Rifau argued that gang networks in the Maldives do not operate in the same manner as in other countries, and therefore the title of the bill should be revised. West Mafarno MP Muhammad Mustafa Ibrahim echoed this sentiment, expressing doubt over whether organized gang activity exists in the Maldives at a level that necessitates such terminology in the legislation. In addition to concerns over terminology, Central Hitadu MP Ahmad Azan Marzouk called for a more comprehensive approach to crime prevention, emphasizing that the underlying causes of youth crime must be studied and addressed rather than simply punishing offenders. He warned that enforcing harsh penalties without tackling the socio-economic factors driving young people towards crime should result in a large segment of the youth population being criminalized. Azan further stressed that Parliament must monitor enforcement agencies to ensure the law is properly implemented if passed. Building on this argument, MP Mustafa also proposed including measures to penalize those who encourage or finance criminal activities, ensuring accountability extends beyond direct perpetrators. According to the government, the bill defines and penalizes organized crime, dangerous criminal acts, and unjust enrichment while aiming to prevent serious and violent crimes in the country. It also includes special measures to protect children and youth from involvement in crime and supports their reintegration into society. As the Judiciary Committee reviews the bill, further discussions and possible amendments are expected before it moves forward in Parliament. The Minister of Health, Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim, describes the decision to ban vapes in the Maldives as a historic step that will bring long-term health benefits to the nation. Speaking on MMTV Bodo Habar program, the minister stated that the effects of this policy would be seen in future generations and would be recognized as a positive change in public health history. Minister Nazim acknowledged that banning vapes and restricting tobacco use are not easy decisions, but he expressed confidence that the majority of Maldivians support the government's stance. He noted that while adapting to such policy changes can be challenging, the long-term health benefits outweigh the difficulties. He also highlighted that change in the public behavior, particularly when it involves long-established habits, is one of the biggest challenges faced by governments worldwide. According to the minister, vaping in the Maldives had reached unprecedented levels, prompting widespread calls for restrictions to curb its rapid spread. He also noted that parents had voiced concerns over their children's exposure to vaping, yet previous administrations failed to take action, allowing its use to become increasingly widespread. The government officially gazettes the general rules on tobacco control, requiring cafes and restaurants to establish designated smoking areas. The new regulations announced on Wednesday impose restrictions on smoking in most public spaces while permitting designated areas in specific locations. Under the new rules, smoking areas will be allowed in airports and ports where transit traffic is arranged, shopping malls, tea houses, cafes and restaurants, state-run detention facilities, and industrial workplaces, including resorts. Additionally, designated smoking areas may also be permitted in temporary camps set up to accommodate disaster victims, open spaces within government agencies, state-owned enterprises, and organizations with official responsibilities. Any establishment wishing to set up a smoking area must obtain written approval from the Ministry of Health. A permit fee of 10,000 rupiah will be charged, and further regulations detailing the conditions, standards, and validity periods for these permits will be introduced by the ministry. Penalties for violations: businesses that fail to comply with the regulations will face the following penalties: 3,000 rupiah fine for the first violation, 5,000 rupiah fine for the second violation, and from the third violation onwards, the fine will double with each repeated offense. If a business commits 2 further violations after the third offense, its license will be temporarily suspended. The suspension will only be lifted once the penalties have been paid. We'll see you soon after a short break. Welcome back to MMTV News in English. Looking into more news, the Bank of Maldives BML introduces changes to its financing products aimed at providing greater support to businesses across the country. Under the real estate financing scheme, the minimum equity requirement has been lowered from 30% to 20%, while the repayment period has been extended from 15 to 20 years. The bank has also expanded eligibility criteria, allowing long-term leases, contractors, real estate developers, companies, government institutions, and other registered legal entities to apply for financing under long-term lease agreements. For businesses in the guest house sector, the revised financing terms now allow the guest house itself to be listed as sole security, making it easier for operators to secure funding. Guest houses that have been in operation for over 2 years can now access financing at 11%, while newly established guest houses will be eligible for financing at 12%. Additionally, working capital financing has been expanded to allow businesses to access up to 2.5 times their average monthly sales. The eligibility criteria have also been relaxed to accommodate a wider range of businesses. According to BML CEO and Managing Director Mohammad Sharif, the changes reflect the bank's commitment to supporting the business community by making financing more accessible and offering improved terms across multiple sectors. He stated that the revised financing products aim to help businesses expand, innovate, and remain competitive in the country's evolving economic landscape. These enhancements to business financing products come shortly after BML introduced changes to its home financing options, which included more flexible terms and higher borrowing limits. The Maldives Inland Revenue Authority (MIRA) reports 3.34 billion rupiah in total revenue for January 2025, surpassing its own projections for the month by 5%. According to MIRA's monthly revenue statistics, tax revenue accounted for 3.28 billion rupiah, comprising departure tax, business profit tax, income tax, green tax, GST, land sales tax, and remittance tax. Meanwhile, non-tax revenue totaled 312 million rupiah, with the largest contributions coming from airport development fees, work permit fees, and quota fees. The breakdown of January's total revenue showed that GST contributed 47.7%, income tax 3.35.8%, airport development fees 3.5%, green tax 3.4%, and tourism land rent 2.0%. In USD tax revenue, MIRA collected $125.49 million, of which 55.1% came from tourism goods and services tax (TGST), 23.0% from income tax, 6.0% from airport development fees, 5.9% from departure tax, 5.6% from green tax, and 3.4% from tourism land tax. The tax authority reported that the higher than anticipated revenue performance was supported by the timely payment of GST and corporate income tax despite an extended income tax deadline. Additionally, a 2% increase in tourist arrivals compared to projections led to stronger tourism-related tax collections. MIRA also noted that 11% of total revenue was recovered through dues recovery effects. The Maldives Inland Revenue Authority (MIRA) reported a record-breaking collection of Zakat al-Mal in 2024, marking the highest amount received in the country's history. According to MIRA data, total Zakat al-Mal collected by the end of 2024 reached MBR 101.9 million, reflecting a 12.9% increase from the MBR 90.2 million collected in the previous fiscal year. The upward trend was particularly evident in December, with MBR 9.7 crore received 51.5% higher than the MBR 6.7 million collected in December 2023. The Ministry of Islamic Affairs attributed this significant rise to efforts by the Maldives Zakat House, which has actively worked to increase public awareness about zakat obligations. In a statement, the ministry noted that this was the largest annual zakat collection on record. Acknowledging the public's commitment, the ministry expressed gratitude to Maldivians for prioritizing zakat payments. It also assured that all collected funds would be distributed to those in need in accordance with judicial procedures and established standards. The State Trading Organization (STO) announces that it will begin distributing tuna cases to households in the Male area from February 20, 2025. The distribution will continue until February 28 with any changes to the schedule to be communicated in advance. 5 distribution centers will be set up in the Mala area for the tuna case distribution. These include the Mala City Council Public Services section, the MIFCO office compound, the Vilimala Council office, the Umar Zahir building in Hurumala Phase 1, and the Youth Center in Hia Tower 10, Hurumala Phase 2. STO stated that distribution points will be operating in 2 daily shifts, from 2:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. and from 8:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Each household will receive 180-gram canned tuna, which will only be issued to Maldivian citizens. To collect the tuna cases, individuals must present their national ID card, household electricity meter number, and a contact telephone number for verification. STO confirmed that preparations for the distribution process have already been completed in collaboration with government institutions, MIFCO, Mala City Council, and island councils. Distribution to the atolls began on February 5, with the island councils overseeing the distribution in their respective areas. The 156th Executive Board meeting of the World Health Organization (WHO) concluded with the Maldives participating as a member represented in the Southeast Asia region. The Executive Board comprises 34 countries, with Minister of Health Abdullah Nazim Ibrahim represented in the Maldives at the meetings. The Maldivian delegation contributed recommendations on several global health issues, including enhancing preparedness and response capacity to prevent health emergencies, expanding universal health coverage to achieve sustainable development goals, mitigating the health impacts of climate change, and improving women's and children's health care. Discussions also focused on optimizing WHO's assistance to member states and addressing health service needs for Palestinian people, where the Maldives voted against Israel's proposals and in favor of Palestinian proposals. On the sidelines of the meeting, bilateral discussions were held for representatives with representatives from Brunei, South Korea, Qatar, and Thailand on the development of the Maldivian health sector. Additionally, Minister Nazim met with WHO Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom to discuss the health assistance needed in the Maldives. A delegation from Education Malaysia Global Services (EMGS) met with officials from the Ministry of Higher Education, Labour and Skills Development today to discuss the implementation of a Memorandum of Understanding signed in September 2024. The agreement aims to enhance educational opportunities for Maldivian students in Malaysia through financial concessions. The MOU, established through the collaboration of the High Commission of the Maldives in Malaysia, EMGS, and MOHELSD, offers tuition fee discounts ranging from 5% to 100%. This initiative is expected to ease the financial burden on students and improve access to higher education in Malaysia. During the meeting, officials discussed operational strategies to ensure the smooth management of the scholarship program. Key topics included streamlining application processes, enhancing student support mechanisms, and coordinating administrative procedures between relevant institutions. The discussions mark a significant step in strengthening educational cooperation between Malaysia and the Maldives. By formalizing these mechanisms, both parties aim to maximize the benefits of the agreement and provide Maldivian students with greater access to quality education in Malaysia. Currently, Malaysia is a popular destination for Maldivian students seeking higher education, with over 1,800 Maldivians enrolled in Malaysian universities. The number of students steadily increased in recent years, reflecting the growing academic ties between the two nations. That's all the news we have for today. Thank you for watching and have a pleasant day.